Now, it is 22 minutes to 9, an end to the leasehold system, an end to the leasehold system in England and Wales. That is what ministers are promising. They say it's feudal and it needs to go. New leasehold flats are set to be banned under government plans, which will make Commonhold the default, where homeowners own a share of and have control over their buildings they live in. Harry Scoffin is the founder of the campaign group Free Leaseholders, and Andrew Bulmer, the CEO of the Property Institute. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Harry, let's start with you. It's been a long time coming, long promised reform to leaseholds. It is finally here. Is it all it seems?
I would politely push back on whether it's finally here, because the government are committed to a 4 to 5 year timetable. We've got a crisis in the flats market, the biggest gap with houses in 30 years, according to Zoopla. We need a crisis response. And I've got a little prop here with you called An End to Feudalism. And it was by Keir Starmer's predecessor, the late Frank Dobson, and the predecessor of the housing minister, Nick Rainsford. That was 1995. When I was 1 year old, they promised all new flats Commonhold. Michael Gove promised it. Thatcher promised it. We've got to actually look at the delivery, and we're getting a draft bill at the end of the year and a Commonhold white paper. Why are we reopening the debate when Labour supported reforms from the Law Commission half a decade ago?
Right, so has anything that you've seen in what the government is proposing suggest to you that they are going to be able to deliver it?
Well, they say it's complicated, but that's what the freeholders say. And I think, there's a two-tier market now in the house and flats market. We don't want two-tier care. We need to make sure that it's not just banning leasehold for new flats, but that actually for those millions of us that are trapped in the current system, that we have a cheap and easy way of converting to Commonhold, because the devil is always in the detail on leasehold and Commonhold reform.
Andrew, that issue of converting existing leaseholds to Commonwealth, that is a tricky one, isn't it?
It is, because there are many leaseholds that already have self-determination, self-control, and own their own freehold. And they have those leaseholders have control over their own destiny. So whether they choose to convert remains to be seen. But conversion is definitely it is going to be complex. It's not a reason not to do it. We welcome the white paper coming forward. I think Harry's right. 2002 was when Commonhold was first introduced, and it's not flown yet, and it needs to fly. So
why not?
We're good with that.
Why not, Andrew? Why did it not take off?
I think there was leasehold has just been around for a long time. You would have different players in the industry that were comfortable with it. It was established practice, and it just didn't come forward. It's time that it did. We're pleased that the white paper has been brought forward. I think the minister's right to be careful in how it's been brought forward. This is the largest asset class in the UK. It's people's homes, people's savings, people's livelihoods. We don't want to mess up the introduction of a new tenure, the first new tenure really since feudal times. So it does need to be done carefully. It does need to be done right, but it does need to be brought forward, and we're pleased to see it.
Harry, is Commonhold the answer? Are there any pitfalls associated with it? It might well bring an end to some of the unfair practices, the unreasonable costs that are associated with leaseholds. But has Commonhold got its own problems?
It means residents having control over the biggest purchase of their lives. That is a system, forms of Commonhold around the continent. In America, North America, they call it condominium. Australia, Southeast Asia, parts of the Middle East, they call it strata title. Yes, residents will have tensions with each other, but it's like Winston Churchill. Democracy is the worst system that's been tried, except for all the others. And actually, what we need to do is drive these freeloading freeholders out of our homes, because actually they crow about their human rights. What about our human rights? They only own 2.5% capital value in a block of flats. And every which way, I think Andrew's being a bit polite to the vested interests. The reason why Commonhold never took off is because the developers, freeholders, managing agents, insurers, you name it, they were all coining it in at the expense of captive homeowners that don't have control. And I think it is a bit like Alan Sugar on The Apprentice. If you're being ripped off, you say you're fired and you get in a better company. And that is democratic. That is the right way we should organise our homes. And I think, that is the key thing here, that all of these governments have promised getting rid of leasehold and then they don't. And 4 to 5 years, that is a long time to wait.
Andrew, were you being polite?
I don't think so, really. I'm looking at this from the building manager's point of view. Nearly half the estates that our members manage are already resident controlled. And for us, resident control is nothing new. We also have members in Scotland where there is no leasehold. And again, residents have full control over there. So we welcome control being brought in. I think what it will do is it'll enable common holders to be very much more part of the process of setting their own service charges. We hear a lot about that. And that would be good because we've seen costs rising, and it will be good for common holders to be part of, as I say, setting their own service charges. I think the one cautionary remark I would make is that with insurance and maintenance and the other costs going up, service charges have gone up quite a lot in recent times. The BBC did a brilliant website page myth busting that service charges are a profit line for managing agents. They're not. So, yeah, having greater control over service charges will be good, but don't imagine that it's going to suddenly drive service charges down by large amounts at all, far from it.
OK, thanks. We'll have to leave it there. Andrew Bulmer, the Chief Executive of the Property Institute, and Harry Scoffin, the founder of Free Leaseholders. Many thanks.
And that brings us to 16 minutes to 9.